So I think you're good to go. Let me introduce Guliano and Federico, talking about taking Microsoft Teams to the next level. Very excited to have you guys, and take over, please. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, thank you, Thomas. It's a pleasure to be here and present to you guys this session. So I would say that we can start. As mentioned by Thomas, we are going to present with my sparring partner taking Microsoft Teams to the next level. We are going to show you how you can extend Microsoft Teams and the whole possibility that you have. Before to start with our session, we want to say a very big thank you to the organizer of this conference and to make this event possible, and also, of course, to partners and sponsor. Now let's have a look to our agenda. We are going to explore initially the capabilities of Microsoft Teams and how we can extend Microsoft Teams. We have very few slides because we wanted to have a very dynamic session with Federico. We planned to have 4 demos and just to keep you awake during our session. I think that Teams it's quite well known, so it's better to see in practice what you can do. Let's move now to the next slide, and we want to give you just a quick overview about ourselves. I am Guliano de Luca. I am an independent technical architect. Since 1 year and a half, I think now, I started to work much more on my YouTube channel. You can find a lot of videos there, and I recommend you to give it a try. And if you find the content useful, please subscribe. I make video about Microsoft 365 and Azure, and I try to post 2 videos per week. So now I have 151 videos there, and so this is something that I try to bring forward. I like to help and support people when I can. I am an Italian guy. I was born and raised in Rome, and so I'll show you in my demo something that is related with that topic. And but since 6 years, I moved in Germany. Federico.
Thank you, Guliano. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Federico Porcedu. I am an office development MVP. I live in Italy, in Sardinia, and I work with SharePoint from 2009. And actually, I work in Avanade from 2011, and as a modern workplace technical architect. I'm also a SharePoint and PMP community contributor. I have a blog. You can find my feed, my Twitter account, my blog. And I'm really happy here with Guliano, my friend and mate. And thanks for the organization of this conference. And I think, Guliano, we can start with our session. We are running late, but we start with just a few slides. We would like to talk how to take in Microsoft Teams to the next level. But first of all, start introducing Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is the hub for the teamwork in Microsoft 365, and teamwork is how work gets done today. Teams meets every team's unique needs by bringing together people, conversation, meeting, calls, and files and collaboration in one place, including intelligent and communication capabilities. And actually, Microsoft Teams is used with from over 120 million of daily user, and delivers chat-based collaboration and a lot of feature. But our point of view is that we can extend Microsoft Teams in order to give a lot of capability, a specific capability for our business process and our business model. And so why integrate your business application with Microsoft Teams? Our point of view is that automate team life cycle is one of the way to extend Microsoft Teams. So you can use Microsoft Graph, for instance, to create a new virtual team, and you can configure the teams with channel, tabs, and application. Create and manage multiple teams and channel is the way to collaborate with your colleague, with the people in your company, and everything is could be automating. So you can automate creative teams, creative channel, and tabs, and you can do from your application. One of the most important thing is that there are a lot of ways to develop application in Microsoft Teams, and the growth of Teams is really important in the last year from end user point of view and from developer point of view. In fact, in this session, we see how to create application from a really basic approach, and how a SharePoint developer, for instance, can create application really easily. So, Guliano, if you want to introduce, please, how to create Microsoft Teams application. So,
yeah. So let's kick off this other topic, and this slide it gives you a very nice summary about the capabilities of Microsoft Teams and what you can do with Microsoft Teams to take it to the next level. Here on the left, we have summarized some capabilities. We have dashboards and tools, conversations, inform and notify, and hubs. Now, in the center and more on the right, we can see that we have several components, and in the surface of dashboards and tools, we have tabs. So this is a great way if you want to implement and integrate your custom web app directly in a team in Microsoft Teams. Or maybe you want to just make it available to all employees in your organization. This could be an idea to develop a personal app to integrate in Teams. Another great way to engage with users is using adaptive cards. Adaptive cards, it's a very great way to share and to move your content cross-platform, because adaptive card renders everywhere, on Android, on Windows, on your mobile, in the web. It doesn't matter where you are. Adaptive card, it's rendered everywhere, and to build an adaptive card, you need just to write JSON. It's pretty easy. We will see later in our demo how you can easily build an adaptive card. Then we have the pillar conversation. This is another huge topic, especially in that cases when you have in your company a lot of platform, a lot of technologies. If we think about SAP and then Microsoft 365 are two different platforms, two different words, and it's not always easy for the user to find information. A bot here could be a nice way to help the user and to address the user to find the right information. I just made some example talking about SAP and Microsoft 365, but there are more platforms there, so the bot can help the user to search the right information and to redirect the user to the right platform. Then we have messaging extensions. This is another great way to build easily your content that you want to push in a channel conversation or in a chat. Moving to the next capability, inform and notify. Here we have a very nice way to notify to the user across the activity feed. Microsoft has also rolled out in the Microsoft Graph API a new endpoint that allows your application to consume the API in order to send a notification directly to the activity feed in Microsoft Teams. That means that a user can be notified when an action is required. So if we think about a practical example, we have an onboarding process. We have a personal app in Microsoft Teams. The new employee has to take an action on this personal app integrated in Teams. It could be a good idea to send a notification through the activity feed API so the user get notified and can take the action by opening directly through the notification the personal app and making some stuff. Then we have connectors. This is a useful way if you want to bring content inside a team from external services. Just to make a very simple example is Twitter. If you want to follow a specific Twitter account, you can use a connector to push every tweet in a team channel. So let's speed up now because I think we don't have a lot of time and we have 4 demos. Then we have calling and meetings. So you can extend the meetings with your custom app. Let's say if you want to collect feedback or if you want to propose a form to the end user so they can or your customers so they can fill out a form and you can receive more inputs. And finally we have apps. And speaking about apps, you can use SharePoint Framework or other kind of technologies to implement and build up in Microsoft Teams. And finally, we have Microsoft Graph. And this is the connection bridge that allows you to enter in the Microsoft 365 world and making operation like CRUD operation, create, read, update, and delete directly in Microsoft 365. Now, let's move to the next slide. And let's see the possible integration. So as I mentioned when you build a Teams app, you have several ways to integrate this app in Microsoft Teams. You can embed your custom web app as a tab in a team, or you can integrate this app as a bot in Microsoft Teams. This could be also a messaging extension or across webhook and connector. You can push information directly in Microsoft Teams. And finally, we have the Graph API. Now let's move on with the demo presented by Federico.
Yes, thank you, Guliano. Thank you. Yes, the first demo talk about create a Teams tab using SharePoint Framework. Starting with the SharePoint Framework version 1.8, you can implement your Microsoft Teams tab using this technology approach. SharePoint Framework significantly simplifies Teams tab development process because Teams tab can be automatically hosted inside SharePoint without any need for external service. And this is the first this is absolutely an easy approach if you become from SharePoint development approach. So I can start to share my screen and I show you how to create an application, a Teams application using SharePoint Framework. So what we can do is start with okay, wait, my connection is a little bit slow. Okay. Sorry, it's freezed. Okay, here we are. Yeah. Okay. Okay. First of all, we need to run a human generator command line, so we can start with create a folder, and we can run our human generator like so. Okay. Okay. And obviously for time problem, I already ran another scaffold of this project. By the way, I would like to show you the way how to create a SharePoint Framework solution. And the first thing is run the human generator and give a name of a solution and choose our version. This is SharePoint Online. And this question is about how to if our solution will be deployed immediately without running any feature deployment. So, we need to answer yes to this question because we need to deploy like tenant wide. And what happened after this is that the human generator create a web part, and our tab is absolutely an embedded content inside Microsoft Teams. Is essentially a web part, okay, and the web part is placed inside the page. So after this, the solution will be created, and what I do before time problem is create the solution, and I show you the solution how it is composed. So there is the source that is the main folder where there is our code. So there is a TypeScript component, and there is the render method when we can write our code and our HTML and the TypeScript. The solution have already a manifest, and in this manifest there is an important thing that is the supported host. So when you run the human generator, you have the default SharePoint web part supported host. But if you want to deploy this web part as a Teams tab, we need to add other supported hosts like Team Personal App and or Teams tab. And the difference is that this app will be deployed inside a Teams or like a personal app. And the other thing that I would like to show to you is the package solution JSON inside the config folder. And when we answer yes to this, the question before, the skip the feature deployment true, the skip feature deploy setting will be set to true. And this is the basic configuration for a web part that we would like to deploy like a Teams tab. So if you look the code, in the code there is a beautiful thing, a great thing that is the context. And inside the context we can access to the Microsoft Teams context. So it is absolutely useful because if you can define a behavior like if you are inside Teams, do some stuff, and if you are inside SharePoint, do another stuff, okay, and use SharePoint context instead the Teams context. What we see is that inside Teams context there are a lot of useful information like this channel ID or the channel name. If we deploy and install this app inside Teams and the channel, or the team ID, the team, if it is black or white, and use principal, for instance, and a lot of stuff really useful for the development of our application. And what we can do is run 2 commands from SharePoint Framework cookbook. Okay, that is the bundle ship and the package solution. After the solution will be packaged, we can deploy the solution inside the app catalog. And here we are, our solution. And after you deploy the solution, you need to sync to Teams. After you sync to Teams, the solution will be available on the store. And what we can do is use our application in our Teams. For instance, this is my app deployed some minutes ago. And what can I do is to add as a personal app or, for instance, inside a team. And I choose inside a team, and we can see that there is a Teams named Azure Developer Community Day, and I can set up a tab. And what we see is that there is the first the configuration tab, and here we are, and we can see our tab. A tab is basically a component developed in Task. It is embedded, so we can insert here our code, our business logic, and etc. And it is available for all users inside the team. Okay, this is how to develop a Teams tab using SharePoint Framework. Okay, obviously you can also add this app like a personal app, and this is the approach. So the main difference is that it is not inside the Teams. So the view is for the single user. Okay. Let's go to the next slide, and we can start to talk about app for Teams. And what about apps for Teams meeting? Meetings enable collaboration and between people, and Microsoft introduced this approach in order to deliver a user experience for each stage of the meeting lifecycle. Because because before Teams app there wasn't an experience specific for users inside meetings, and after Microsoft introduced apps for Teams meeting, user can use their own specific business logic, their own specific process inside and during a meeting. Okay, and how can I say, the meeting app can deliver a user experience for each stage of the meeting lifecycle, and the meeting lifecycle including 4 phases: the pre-meeting, the in-meeting, and the post-meeting app experience, depending on the attendee status. So user can access app during meeting, for instance, before join, or during the meeting, or at the end of the meeting for a post-meeting survey, for instance. Okay. So the first pillar is the meeting life cycle. It's really important in order to design and build a Teams meeting application. There are 3 roles in a meeting. That is the organizer, the presenter, and the attendee. And there are various user type in the meeting: internal, guest, federated, user, and for each kind of roles and user types, there are different experiences. Okay. What we can do is understand from a code point of view how to enable our app for Teams meeting. Okay, and you see before a manifest And Teams app basically is a JSON with manifest, and we need to configure this manifest introducing the group chart scope and the context. The context is really important because define where the app will be shown. So will be shown in a channel tab, or in a private chat tab, or in a meeting chat tab, and every context specify where the app will be enabled when the user add an app inside the meeting. There are also the meeting, this tab, that is a tab in the header of the meeting, and we can specify if you put the app in the meeting details tab or the meeting chat tab. Okay, what we can do now is see how to create an app for our Teams meeting. And obviously, after you create an app and deploy in the tenant, you need to add to a specific meeting. Okay, so I show you another solution, and now the solution is a Node.js based application. Okay. So you can find the view, okay? So in the view there is our code, our initialization, and our meeting. And in this case, this app, it is like a Kanban board. So there are to-do list, task. There are another part with doing task, and another part with the done task. Okay, so here you can specify our HTML code, and this is our core application. One of the most important things is the manifest from Teams application, and in this manifest there is an app ID, there is a version, and obviously there is the configurable tab. Configurable tab specify the scope and the context. Okay, so what we can do now is start with running the ngrok server. Okay, and run our application. Okay. Okay, so ngrok give us a URL, and we can.
Federico, can you share your screen?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I will show again the manifest, and this is the manifest where you can find our ID and our the version, okay, and the configurable tab with ngrok. Okay. Now, so I run ngrok server. I change the manifest, and now I can create the application, and it is really easy to do this because it is just a zip file containing two icons. Okay, and our manifest. So I can compress this, create this zip file, and I can upload it in Teams. Before do this, I start our Node.js solution. Okay, and I upload our app inside Teams for my organization. Okay. So, perfect. This is the app in meeting, and I see if there are other meetings. Okay, there are other meetings, so I can create a new meeting, for instance. So, new meeting for demo, and I add some people to this meeting. And what we can do is add this app for our meeting, and we can do in this way: add to a meeting, new meeting. Okay. I think we can use this one. And I can set up a tab. So what happened is that I can add this app, and this is the app running. Okay. When I join the meeting, okay. Hope you can hear me. Okay. I can access to the app meeting, and I see my app, and I can start to use my Kanban board and add the task for everybody, and I can already share and presenting my app, and everybody can collaborate and use with their own business process. And for instance, I can assign tasks to Federico, that is review slides, for instance, and there is a task doing for Guliano. Guliano maybe is present the session, for instance, and I think that in-app meetings app in Microsoft Teams are really, really powerful and useful. And from my experience, I can say that there are a lot of customer and people that need their custom experience inside meetings, and I think that is a really, really, really great way for extend Microsoft Teams. Perfect, Giuliano. I think that you can take over the screen and you can continue with your demo about Viva connection. Thank you, Giuliano.
Thanks, Federico. Great demo. Let me share again slide. So let's talk about Microsoft Viva Connections. By the way, so this is an Azure conference, and so we have used SharePoint Framework in our demo, but of course you are totally free to build your custom web app as you prefer, with C#, with Blazor, with React, Angular, and then you can host your application in Azure, and nothing stops you to integrate this app in directly in Teams. Now let's have a look to Microsoft Viva Connections. This is a very great new employee experience that brings news, resources, people in one place in Microsoft Teams. The best benefit is that you have always in your hand across your mobile phone the ability to open Viva Connections directly in Microsoft Teams and read all information that you need. The nice part is that you can integrate in Viva Connection your services. Let's say that you have check-in, check-out service, so you have every time to mark the time when you start and when you get off from your daily job. Or if you have to request a holiday to your manager, or if you have to start another process, you can do everything directly in this Viva Connections dashboard. Now, but let's jump on my demo of Viva Connections. So I'll give you a very nice overview about Viva Connection, what is and how you can get started with development. I'm going to share now my screen. In the meantime, I got the news from the organizer that we have time for our session because the next one has been cancelled due to illness. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen, and let me go on one of my tenants where I have my demo, and it is this one. Here we go. So this is an home site in one of my demo tenant, and here I have this home page. Let me refresh this page. On the right, I placed Viva Connections dashboard, and on top I have the feed for Viva Connections. Now I'm not covering the part how you can install and turn on Viva connections, but it's pretty easy. Basically, on Teams admin, in the Teams admin portal, can turn on these Viva connections. It's just an app, and this will be available in the mobile version of Teams as well. Now, this is the dashboard of Viva connections, and you can place this dashboard where you want on the page. I place it in this case on the right, in this home page of my home site. And here I have several adaptive cards. These are adaptive cards. If you are not familiar with adaptive cards, as I mentioned at the beginning of our session, is basically an agnostic framework that run everywhere. And you have just to define a JSON, and there is also a playground and a sandbox online where you can build easily your adaptive card, and then you can even send to your email this adaptive card just to have a better feeling how it looks like, and that's it. Then it is rendered. So here you can bring several information. Now what I'm going to demo here is this thing. So this is just a menu that you can offer to your employees. So imagine that you have a restaurant in your company, and every day you have a different dish, of course. In this case, we have a very nice dish coming from my hometown, Rome. This is a famous dish called carbonara, and so this is what the restaurant offer to the employee today. And if I click here on the quick view, I can see more information about this dish, and I can even know if this is a vegan dish or not. And then there is even a link, so if I want to get more information about this dish, I have just to click on it, and this will open a new tab in the browser. Now, before to go through the code of this solution and to explain you a little bit better how this app is developed, I want to jump on a tool that I have here just to show you the mobile experience. Here I am on my Android device, as you can see, and I have the mobile version of Teams open. On the left, you can see that there is an app called Contoso. This is Viva Connections. Now, if I tap on Viva Connections, I have the same user experience. So I have the same dashboard here available, and if I tap on Quick View, this open a new form and display me additional information about this thing. Now here I have additional adaptive cards, and I can see additional information. Imagine that you have to notify about COVID information. So this is a very nice way to reach all users in your company. And when you deal with Viva Connections, it's very important to keep in mind that you have to put and bring information here that are really, really important for the end user. And I think you have, instead of thinking which news I have to display here on Viva Connections, it's better to think about which service I have to embed here in this dashboard, and why, or eventually which kind of resource, because news basically are easily reachable on the internet, on the home site. Yeah, of course, if you have COVID information to bring to the attention, it's also a good place. But I would think much more about services. So which service could be very helpful for the user. Let's say that you are in a company that offer a retail, where there is a retail aspect, and so you deal with frontline worker. A nice way to share resources in the dashboard could be to implement shift service where the user can easily change his or her shift in the store, or ask to someone else if he can be substituted in the daily job. Another way could be, just to give you more inputs, could be to integrate, as I mentioned before, the check-in and check-out, and this service can run in background to update this information in a SAP platform, for example. Okay, now let's jump on just to give you. So we have time. I would like to show you more information about Viva Connections. Let me open now another tab, because I'm going to the admin portal of Microsoft Teams. I want just to give you an overview about Viva Connections, and from an admin perspective, how you can easily turn on this app. Now, in the meantime that the admin center is loading, I'll show you in the home site. So first of all, you have to activate the home site in your tenant. Once you turn it on, the home site, you will have here, in clicking on the wheel icon in the top right corner, you will have an option, set up Viva Connections. The first time that you do that, you have to turn on a toggle button to turn on this feature, and then you will have a dashboard. Now, if I click on this button, I can see the Viva Connections dashboard. And here, if I edit this dashboard, I have two views. This is the mobile view, and here I can easily add additional cards. I have several options here. By default, there are approvals, assigned tasks, card assigner, shifts, and this web link. For example, you can even embed video here. This is another nice thing. And then there is this app that I already added in the dashboard, and it is this one. You can rearrange and organize better every position related to every card, every adaptive card. In this case, I added my adaptive card at the first position. I can easily switch to the desktop view, and so just to have a better feeling how it looks like this dashboard. Now, let me go on the admin center, and if I jump now in Manage Apps, in the Search by Name field, I can type Viva. Sorry for the delay, it's a little bit slow. There we go, I have Viva, this is Viva Learning. So it's very slow. Anyway, so when you find the app, you can type Viva Connections. The app shows up. You can click on the app, and then you can turn on this app, because by default it's turned off. Once you turn on this app, you can jump in the setup policies. So you can make this app available for every user, pre-installed, already installed, and so you have to go in the global policy. This is the policy used by every user in the organization. This is Viva Connections. I call it Contoso. I renamed the app. And I added this app here in the installed apps section. So this app will be pre-installed for every user in the company. And then I added this app. I pinned this app on top. So this is the first app available, and it's pretty easy to get access. Now, to go in this specific adaptive card, which is the topic of this demo, I'm going now on another tab that I have here, because there is a prerequisite for this adaptive card. This is a nice way how you can display information in an adaptive card by reading a SharePoint list, for example, or you can even read content from an Azure table storage or from Cosmos DB. Then through an API you can collect the information that you need and display this information in the adaptive card across SharePoint Framework. Now here I added this information in a normal SharePoint list called today's lunch, and we have several columns here. We have title, dishes, as backend dishes, weekday, lunch feature, calories, short description, and see more to offer the ability to the user to click on the link and collect more information about this dish. Now here on the weekday we have the day of the week, as you can presume. And when you open the adaptive card shows up in the dashboard, automatically get the current day and collect all items coming from the right weekday. So in this case on Tuesday, so collect this information. Now this adaptive card is limited to display one dish. A second nice version of this adaptive card could be to display a slider here, 2 arrows, one on the right and one on the left. So in this way the user can move from a dish to another if the restaurant offer more option. Let's say that there is a dish which is not vegan, there is an option too with a vegan dish, and then we have even a third option. This could be a nice second version of this adaptive card. By the way, you can find this sample in the PMP community. So if you type PMP GitHub, you will land on an open source initiative, and there is the adaptive card sample section where you can find several adaptive cards already created using SharePoint Framework. So you can clone the GitHub repo and modify the solution if you want to implement more feature and capability. Now coming back here to the list, this is the SharePoint list, and so we have seen that today we have this dish. Now let's go on the Visual Studio Code solution. This is the SharePoint Framework adaptive card extension available in the source. Let me just zoom here so you can see better the solution. So in this folder SRC there is the core of this solution. Expanding here we have additional folders. Let's go in this one. This is the main file that loads the first time when this adaptive card has to be loaded. And so here we have a React framework solution, and here there is a state. The first thing is that when on the onInit event, there is the classic loading dishes, so the user knows that the adaptive card is rendering and loading. Then there is an external service here, services, where trigger, and I pass here the context of this solution. Then through the PMP library, which is a JavaScript project always available on GitHub, offer the user the ability to communicate easily with SharePoint, and using the IntelliSense it's possible to collect information from SharePoint, for example, but you can do more. In this case, I collect the today's dish, and when I have the result, when I have the lunch, I set the state with the lunch, and I update the today's lunch state. So the adaptive card render and display properly the dish. Now let me go on services just to show you here more in detail what this application do. So we have this method get today's lunch, and this collect several field in the SharePoint list. Then we have using the PNP JS library, it's possible to reference an object like that one as P web lists instead of writing the REST API endpoint. It's possible to use this IntelliSense. Then get by title. I added here the title of my list, render list data as a stream. I pass the query, which field I want to display as a result. Then I get only the first row of the result, and then I collect the picture coming from the image column in the SharePoint list, the yes/no value column in the list if this is a vegan dish or not, and then I create here a const with the lunch. This is an interface object, and here I add the ID of the list item, the title, short description, see more, and then I return this object so I can display this as a card in the adaptive card. Now this is the adaptive card. If I go here, we have this object, and this is the card view, and this is the parameters that are available in the card. We have the title, the primary text, the image URL, which is the thumbnail of the dish, and the icon property. So when the user click on the button Quick View, this other file is triggered, and this display this view. As you can see, this is a JSON. If I take this JSON, just to give you an overview, I copy this JSON. This is the adaptive card, the view that display when I click on the button Quick View to get more information about the dish. If I copy this JSON, this is the adaptive card basically. And if I jump on my adaptive card playground that I have already opened here, it should be yes, adaptive cards. So this is the website that you can use to create adaptive card. Here we have an example how display an adaptive card. Here we have a weather adaptive card that display on Windows as a UPF application. In Android, in iOS, you can see that render a little bit differently, but it works across every platform without any issue in iOS, Android, and HTML. Now here you have samples, so you can explore several adaptive card samples, and here we have, for example, this flight itinerary. So this is how it looks like, the card, and here this is the JSON file that renders here as adaptive card. Now let me go on the designer. This is the playground where you can easily build your adaptive card. Now in this section there is the payload, the card payload. If I remove this thing, and if I apply my JSON that we have seen in the VS Code solution, we can see that the adaptive card renders. Here we have the title, subtitle, we have a description here below, then the number of calories. So as you can see, it's very easy to add or modify an adaptive card. Here I can just drag and drop additional information. So for example, I want to add a text box because I want to get inputs from the user. You can easily build a form, for example. In the adaptive card, you can display a button. Clicking on the button, the user can fill out a form. Let me go on samples so I can give you more in detail. I can show you an example. So here we have a form, and as I mentioned, clicking on the button in the adaptive card, you can open this other adaptive card, so the user can provide additional information, and then click on submit, and this trigger your custom process. So this is, I think we covered everything about Viva Connections and how you can easily extend the dashboard by using SharePoint Framework, and eventually how you can, of course the SharePoint Framework solution, which is definitely an adaptive card here, can consume also an Azure function, so you can secure your Azure function in the Azure Active Directory, so you know that only logged user can consume this Azure function, and then this Azure function can read information from an Azure table storage, just to make an example, and send back this information to the SharePoint Framework solution. So you have, in this way, you have a service that runs in the Viva Connection dashboard and collect information totally outside from Microsoft 365, but read this information in a very secure way. Now, let me go back on the slide and let me now show you the last demo of this session, Graph. This is about Graph Toolkit. It's a very nice way to work with Graph API. Let me open, here I have already a tab. So this is the website. It's called mgt.dev. If you land and open this, you will find this Microsoft Graph Toolkit playground, and this is very cool because you have at glance an overview about all components available. This is very cool because you can embed these components in SharePoint Framework or in any other custom web app hosted in Azure or in Amazon, wherever you want. And here we have several components, as I mentioned. So in this case, we have an agenda. So here we are reading fake information, but the point here is that using this component, you can easily use the Graph API to collect information from your Microsoft 365 tenant. I will show you another one that I have here, which is the file. So here, for example, you can read your OneDrive space, and you can display all files and folders contained in your OneDrive in another web application. So you can easily embed this component in your custom web application. By importing this component, basically you are consuming and using in background the Microsoft Graph API, and through this API you are able to perform CRUD operation in Microsoft 365. There is here also the people or the people picker, so you can display here this information about people in Microsoft 365. This component offer all this kind of user experience. It's very cool. And if you jump in the docs, you can read more information about attributes and properties, so you can configure and customize also the behavior of every component. Now let me go on this one. So for example, if you want to have a people picker embedded in your custom web application, you can easily use this one. So by typing in this search field, you can have and collect information about your user in your Microsoft 365 tenant. Then let's see another one, which is the one that I will demo in this session. This is the classic to-do tasks. These come from Planner, but you can also collect tasks coming from Microsoft To Do. But let's say that we want to work with tasks in Planner. If I click now on this component, MGT tasks, I can see all tasks coming from every planner that I have in Microsoft 365. Now here I have additional properties for this component that allows me to say if the user can directly add tasks from this component or not. Then by clicking on the button, I can easily add additional tasks to one planner. So this is the planner. I have several planner, electronic events, ActiveWare, HR, and so on. Then this is the bucket, and finally the date. And here I can specify to which user I want to assign this task. Clicking then on the plus button, I can add this task. Here on the three dots, I can delete this task. I can mark this task as completed. So it's very, very cool. Instead of opening a planner in your browser, or instead of going in the tasks app in Microsoft Teams, you can embed this piece of feature directly in your custom web app. Now let's jump on another tenant that I have here, where I have this component embedded. Here I have a personal app called Me Experience. This is not the right one. It's this other one. Here we go. This is a personal app in Microsoft Teams, and now it's loading. There are three tabs here available for this app. There is excluding about, but including the classic about, which is always available in every Teams app. R3, inside settings and planning. And then we have this Microsoft Graph component that I embedded in this app using the toolkit. Now here, as we have seen before, I can add additional task, or I can mark a task as completed. So here I'm collecting real data now. So I'm reading tasks coming from my real planner. I can delete this task. I can add. Here I can see all my planner in this Microsoft 365 tenant. It's very cool. So this by writing a few line of code, just let me reopen the card where I was. Just writing that thing in your application, you are able to get all this user experience for the user. Of course, when you use that, if you are working with SharePoint Framework, you have to grant the permission in order to use the Microsoft Graph API. Once you grant access to the application by reading a planner, for example, you are able to collect all this information stored in Planner. Now, this is a SharePoint Framework solution. Let me show you how this solution is embedded. I'm going now to open this solution. Let's wait it open. Here we go. Okay, this is the personal hub. This is the planning settings. We have in this solution three tabs, as I mentioned. We have insights, planning, and settings. So if I jump back here, we have planning, insights, and settings. These are basically three different web parts. Let me go on planning. Then here we have the planning web part file, where is my web part. Then here I have my component that render in the web part. Now, if I want to use the toolkit, I have to install by running the command npm install mgt react. If you are using the React framework, you can then embed easily every component available in the toolkit, in the Graph API toolkit. Here I embedded the agenda, tasks, and get. Then going a little bit down, I'm using basically this toolkit to collect also my upcoming events, which is this one, this part, this component. I'm rendering and I'm using the toolkit to get information about my upcoming meetings. So I can have a first look about my day, how many meetings I have, and so on. Then here I have the to-do component, the tasks component, which is this column, tasks. And finally, using always the toolkit, I can embed a normal get request, and here I can specify which kind of get I want to run. So you can read this information in the official Graph API documentation. You can see and explore all endpoints that you can consume. In this case, I'm getting insights about the current user, me, and then here in query string I added also a filter. I want to collect all information, all insights which are available in a site in SharePoint. And here we go. These are all files stored in SharePoint that now are available here in this column. So this is basically what the solution does: display this information using the Graph API toolkit. As I mentioned, this toolkit is can be used everywhere, also in a normal custom web application hosted in Azure, for example. But this is the very great benefit that instead of writing more code, you can, if this component works fine, considering and according to your business requirements, you can easily reuse it and embed it in your application. Now, just to give you also an admin perspective, what I made in terms of configuration to make this component available on my tenant. Let me go directly here in my admin, SharePoint admin tenant. So if I expand here advanced, I am a SharePoint admin here. I can get access to the SharePoint admin center. If I go in the section API access, I have an overview of all requests that I granted to consume and use the API. Now here I have several Microsoft Graph API permission that I granted to use this application. For example, tasks, read write. I granted this one in order to display all tasks in the application. So this is basically all you need to do. If you are working with SharePoint Framework, and when you generate the package of the solution, You have just to upload this one in the app catalog in SharePoint. Then if you select this solution, you can sync this application in Teams if this app, if this SharePoint Framework solution is a personal app. So this will be available in Teams app catalog, so every user can install this app. And that's it. So then you have to grant the permission in the admin center, and you are done. So I think we can wrap up the session. We ran and really out of time, but luckily we had time to move to take all our time to show you better the demos. And so here you can see a QR code. It's very great if you can provide your feedback. We really care about your feedback. This QR code or this link opens a form in Microsoft Form, and there are just 3 questions. It takes just 1 minute for you. If you can fill out this form, it's great because you can have a feedback about our content. If you enjoyed the session, if the content was not very good, or if there's something that we can improve or change, it's more the welcome. So let me then move on to the next slide. Here you can find several resources about our session. Here there are all references about us, about me, about my YouTube channel, and about Federico. If you want to still in contact with us, feel free to reach out in Twitter. Here there is the blog of Federico. I recommend you to follow him because he's very active, and now he's a fresh MVP, so he is really engaging with the community. So I think that we can say a big thanks from me and
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guliano. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everybody, for our session. And here we are.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. So next up we have the next session is I think at 1:15. If you want to join the giveaway, you can do so by going to our Twitter account AzDevCom, and there we posted a link for the giveaways, and there will be coming some more of the links. So go ahead. And good luck.